everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and today's video I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys the books that I read in the month of March. I actually had a pretty good reading month, considering I'm kind of finally making my way out of my reading slump. I've been going through a pretty bad reading slump that started in like August of last year, and last month was pretty much the first month that I had a pretty good reading month. I read a total of 6 books, so I'm really excited to share those with you guys. A couple of these books were rereads, but I still had a pretty great reading month because I pretty much loved all of the books that I read. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first 2 books that I read during the month of March was actually a reread, and I read this for the preparation for the Netflix movie, and that is P.S. I Still Love You, and the third book in the series is Always and Forever, Laura Jean. The third and final movie based on this book, the final book in the trilogy, was coming out on Netflix. I think it came out on Valentine's Day or something, so I wanted to go ahead and reread the whole series in order to prepare myself for the third movie, because the third book was the one that I remembered the least, and I pretty much love it. I love the series. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the character of Laura Jean. She is so quirky and cute, and I love her character a lot, and I really love the story, and I loved the third movie as I loved the third book. I have given these books 4.5 stars. The third book that I read during the month of March was a book that I actually listened to audiobook on my commute to work. I got a brand new job, which is absolutely fantastic because I really love it, and the pay is incredible. However, it is a long commute for me, and so I decided to, on my long commutes to work, to listen to an audiobook, and I've had this audiobook for quite a while on my Audible library, and I just decided to go ahead, I'm just gonna listen because I loved the first book, and it is Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. This is the sequel to Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. It is following Simon's friend Leah from the first book, so it is not following Simon, and it is about Leah discovering herself and falling in love. And I actually really ended up loving this book. Even though Leah is not my favorite character from the world of Simon, I still really liked this book, and I liked the direction that it went, which was interesting. It caught me by surprise when I started seeing where it was heading, and I was like, okay, I can get behind this. I ended up giving this book 4 stars. I would highly recommend if you haven't read it. If you liked Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, I don't think this one will disappoint you because it was actually pretty cute and pretty good. The fourth book that I read is a book that I've been reading for quite a while. It is a book that I've been reading during my Pages and Pals live show, which is a live show that I do monthly with a couple of friends, where we just read together. We do reading sprints together during the live show. You guys can join us. Our next one is going to be on May 15th, and it's going to be on my channel at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And the book that I finally finished and I've been reading during those live shows is Unbound by Neil Shusterman. This is a series of short stories based on the Unwind world from his main series, the Unwind Anthology, and I pretty much loved it. I loved every single story. It was really good. It gave me more of an insight on some of the characters. It gave me more an insight onto the world, and I can see why they didn't make it into the main series, but I love them. I think they really contributed to understanding the overall world of the Unwind world. I'll highly recommend it if you're a fan of the Unwind Anthology by Neil Shusterman. Even though it's a series of short stories, I did give this overall book 5 stars. The next book that I read during the month of March was one of my most anticipated reads. I love this book so much, and it is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. This is the third book that she's written, and it's set in the same world as her other 2 books, which was The Hate You Give and On the Come Up. And this is following the story of Maverick, who is Star's father from the first book, The Hate You Give. It is following his story, kind of like an origin story for him, letting us know how he grew up and how he became who he is today. I really love the story. Following Maverick's story and kind of knowing his origins was pretty insightful when you know what's happening after, like what's gonna happen after with his daughter Star. I did give this book 4.5 stars. The reason why I knocked half a star, I didn't feel as emotionally connected to this story as I did with Star's story, but The Hate You Give was just so good, and I love The Hate You Give. It's one of my favorite stories of all time. It's so good to me, and there was just something so special about it, and I kind of didn't have that same connection that I did with this book. I still really loved it. And the final book that I read was a book that took me by surprise. I didn't expect to love this book as much as I did, and it is Before She Ignites by Jody Meadows. This was the BookTube Chicks book pick of the month for the month of March. If you guys would like to hear more of my spoilery thoughts on this book, I'll go ahead and leave our live show linked on the screen. But it was really good. It is set in this world where basically there were these fallen gods. The fallen gods created these islands, and these people on each island have their own culture, and they each worship their individual fallen god. Our main character, she's kind of like a public speaker for her island and for the god that she and her people worship, and she discovers something like a conspiracy, a betrayal by her own government. She tries to bring it to light, and her government betrays her. They throw her in prison, and it's a really good story. There's dragons in it as well, and I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this story. I enjoyed immensely this world. I enjoyed the characters. I thought they were so unique and relatable, and sometimes I feel like our main character was dumb and she made dumb decisions. However, I related to why she made those decisions, and so I just love this book that I immediately bought the second book. As soon as I finished reading this book, I bought the second book so that I could read it, and I am planning on reading it this month just because of how much I loved this book. Highly recommended if you like dragons and if you like a little bit of myth to the stories and betrayal and political intrigue. It's really good. And there you go, guys. That is all for the books that I read during the month of March. I had a pretty great reading month. I don't think April will be as good as March, but I'm hoping that I read some more great books, because again, all of the books that I read during the month of March were great books that I really loved. Anyway, guys, let me know down in the comments below how's your reading been. What was your favorite book that you read in the month of March, because I would really love to know. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All of my social medias are linked down below, including Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads if you'd like to follow me on those platforms. Hope to see you guys on my next video. Have a good day, guys, and keep reading. Bye!